And I would like to introduce my favorite part in Neijing. I wrote this down on my desk, and always, every day, I contemplate on them when I give an acupuncture. This is from the chapter 침, 해, 편. This means anatomy of acupuncture. So anatomy of acupuncture can mean bootstrap of acupuncture or 101 of acupuncture. So name of the chapter is telling you this is the basic of acupuncture. Especially this chapter is talking about your attitude as an acupuncturist. I divided into this passage into three. First one, I'll talk about this one first. These two sentences can be translated this way. Be cautious as if you are standing at the edge of the sea cliff. This one is just cliff, but I think the sea cliff is more dramatic. So I smoothed it out. Sea cliff, edge of the sea cliff. Think about those waves, wild waves and wind, and you are at the edge of the cliff. And second, be strong as if you are holding the tiger's neck, like him. You are holding the tiger's neck. Not to be bitten by tiger, you should hold it very tight, right? And this is about the manners of acupuncturists when they apply acupuncture. Actually, these two virtues are very contradictory. How can you be subtle and delicate, like standing at the edge of the sea cliff, and also at the same time, how can you be that strong? Is it possible? And most of the acupuncturists, my juniors and my students, it seems like they are very good at being cautious, like this passage, very cautious, timid, and delicate. But Neijing tells you that you should be very strong with acupuncture. In many cases, modern days acupuncturists have very lack of strength in applying acupuncture. Your acupuncture needle should be very strong, pierce anything, joint, tissues, ligament, and tendons, tighten muscles. So this is my analogy. When you hold a needle, this is about grabbing the needle. First, you should be able to grab the needles like this. This is the most delicate way, like grandmother's sewing skills, very delicate. And also at the same time, you should be able to be strong, like picking the ices. How can you get those virtues at the same time? So you should be able to be delicate, and sometimes whenever you meet some obstacles and tightness of the tissues, you should be also strong enough to pierce them. I think acupuncture is very difficult because most eccentric way of stimulation, acupuncture is the most eccentric way of stimulation. Contradictory, eccentric, doesn't make sense because you get the needles through your skin in the most relaxed status, condition. So when you get the acupuncture, you're fully relaxed. And the needle is piercing into your skin. How can you obtain that? And actually, that is the condition, ideal condition when you get the acupuncture. So there's a pain, but it is pleasant pain and relaxed pain. So sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system is working together. So that is the reason I say most eccentric way of stimulation. So in acupuncture, there are many things like this, contradictory, like yin and yang at the same time, soft and hard at the same time, relaxed and painful at the same time. I think self-acupuncture is not as effective as regular acupuncture by somebody else. When you do self-acupuncture, you cannot be fully relaxed because you know that you are inserting the needle. So this is about grip. When you grab the needle, you should be very subtle. At the same time, you should be very strong. And second virtue is this passage. This passage can be translated into this way. Insert the needle straight and precise. So this Neijing passage tells you that when you insert the needle, your needle insertion should be very straight and everything is in the right place without wobble. This letter means wrong insertion, wrong direction. This letter is used as evil or devil, but in this case, this is just meant wrong. So needle is inserted slightly different direction from your intention and wobbly. When your needle get wobbly, your needle tip reaches subtle different location from your intention. This second passage is talking about inserting the needle. This first two passages talking about how to grip the needles, and this is about how to insert the needles. And there was a Korean style candle, and my master, when he cut those straws, the cut surface is very clean. But when I cut it, I can cut it, but surface is not that smooth. So please watch this. It looks very strong. So I don't think it is totally depending on the force. Sometimes small little girl can cut through all the bamboos, but sometimes very robust big guy cannot cut through those 5 bamboos. What do you think is the difference here? Their cutting direction is not precise and straight, it's wobbly and it changes. But surprisingly, many acupuncturist insertion is not that pretty. It's wobbly. When you see they put the needle bent, that's the worst thing. When the needle bent, automatically that tip changed the direction. With those bending sword, you cannot cut just one bamboo. How can you obtain those skill? Only possible way is just practicing. Modern days acupuncture school, their lack of those skill practicing. We need to practice a lot. And another surprising thing is many students give acupuncture like this, bending their back or stretch their arms, put the needles far from their position. When you apply acupuncture, needles should be right under your eyes. My tennis coach always yelled at me, use your legs, not your shoulder. Do you know what that means? Use your legs, not your shoulder, not your arms. Same thing can be applied to acupuncture. I want to yell to my student, use your legs and apply the needle right under your eyes. That's a one-on-one. And this beautiful, amazing passage is yelling at you to use your legs, to be precise. Without proper standing grip, you cannot be precise. And third, okay, this is the last part. First part, we talked about how to setting up the acupuncture, how to grip the needles, soft and hard at the same time. And second, we talked about insertion of the needle. It should be very straight without wobble. Last part actually is separated, is talking about while you inserting the needle, not the setting up or just inserting the needle, but while you're inserting the needle, what kind of manners and attitude we need to keep. And I think this is the most important one when you apply acupuncture. Calmly, you should be calm. Observe the patient's eyes to see Shen. It can be translated into spirit or soul, but I just use the word Shen, without distraction. So while you insert the needle, you should calmly observe patient eyes. So eyes are just metaphor. If the patients are lying down on their tummy, you cannot see their eyes. But you should always keep your eyes on patient response without distraction. So you cannot check the patient response in this manner. So Neijing says, always calmly observe patient eyes. And also it says, acupuncturists need to straighten our shen too. So Neijing says, you should not apply acupuncture when your shen is not straight. That means you're distracted, not prepared. So by straightening our mind, controlling our mind, we can also control the shen of the patient. This is a very common misunderstanding about acupuncture. We consider that acupuncture is like pressing the button, but acupuncture is not something like that. There is a button, but you should hit it hard in a precise manner. Acupuncture is not a button for treatment. This is a wrong expectation, and you will get disappointment. Everybody can insert a needle in less than 5 minutes. It is not that hard. You can insert the needle. Everybody can hit someone's face. Even my 3-year-old son could hit the face, right? It is not that hard, but hitting hard like a Mike Tyson is a lifelong journey. And acupuncture is the same. This is the last one, and this is the most important one in acupuncture in terms of manner and attitude. You should be a good listener. See? Calmly observe patient eyes. Isn't it like a love story? Your boyfriend and girlfriend is staring at your eyes to observe all the responses, just small responses. You need to be a good listener with acupuncture. But everybody, as an acupuncturist, they want to be a speaker, just applying the needles everywhere, dozens of needles. Do not focus on doing, speaking acupuncture, but try to listen more. Patient response, what patient body tells. Be gentle and caring to patient or yourself, and communicate based on response, patient response. So acupuncture is like a communication, conversation with your spouse, same communication with your patient. So this passage talk about that virtues. This is my personal favorite passage, and you'll find a lot of beautiful stories in Neijing too. And if you have some, please share with me too.